Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live today. As everything gets online and things get set up, I invite you to roll your shoulders back and get into your body. Take a deep breath. Some of you might hear my toddler yelling in the background. She's going to come upstairs and take a nap in a second. Her dad's going to put her down. If you're joining me live, say hello, leave a comment, click on something so that I know that you're here. If you're watching the replay, you can do #reslay, and I'll talk to y'all later. And like every day, I'm a little bit late for these lives. I say they're going to be at 2 Eastern, but I'm always a bit late. Good night, my love. She's a Scorpio. Double Scorpio. As I was getting ready to do this live, this is a really big one. And I noticed that I was really taking my time and before I pressed start. Because it's crazy, right? For those of you that are in my world, that have been in my world, you know that I'm launching, doors are open right now for Goddess Wife School. Doors closed tonight, actually, for that program. And so I've been going live every day. I've been live teaching in celebration, sharing all the concepts from you, so many of the tools, talking to the alumni and all about all their incredible experiences. And so it's kind of crazy for me to do a live on the last day before the doors close on letting your relationship die. And I see a comment already from Eliza, who's deciding to change the way she's interacting with the fantastic men she's dating. I love it. And in order to do that, right, in order to change the reality that we have, in order to change the dynamic, in order to change the experience that we're living, a lot of times what's being asked of us is to let something die, to let something go, to not only just make a shift, but to really put to bed something or some way of us being, believing, acting that is writing the story that we keep living over and over again in our lives. And the theme of death and rebirth has been coming up so strongly for me and for so many of the incredible women that are in my world. So, as you might know, every time I launch Goddess Wife School, I get into a huge fight or struggle, or as you'll learn through being in my world, evolution, right? Any kind of struggle in our relationship, any point where we meet our partner and it's not working for either of us, is an opportunity for us to create what we want. And the bigger the struggle, the deeper the bigger the opportunity for us to start to do or be whatever is required for us to have that different experience, right? Because you can't be the same person and operate in the same energies and think the same things and expect something different to happen. That's just freaking impossible. Because even if something different does happen, the way you respond and what you do to try to cling to that control and that sameness will drag it back to the hell or to the disappointment that you don't necessarily want for yourself. And so I know, right, at this point, me and Dan know that every time I'm going to launch an Open Doors for Goddess Wife School, that something really major is going to shift for us personally, financially, in our relationship, and who we are fundamentally as humans. And that coupled with Cancer season, which has been so emotional for so many of us, coupled with tonight's full moon or today's full moon. Personally, me, where I am in my cycle, I literally started my bleed today. I'm on Chrome. So much has been coming up for me personally in this launch. And that's why I love Goddess Wife School so much, because what it's asking us as women, as earthly creatures that are involved just in our everyday like stuff, right? Posting on the internet, paying our bills, doing all of like our technical like life survival kinds of things, holding it together. You know, it's a big ask. It's a big invitation. to step into the container that is Goddess Wife School. So many women have so many questions like, what do you mean goddess? Or what do you mean wife school? Or why the hell wife? Like, even there's so many judgments and reactions just from the title, just from the name of it. Oh, Cynthia, thank you. It's a Hamsa opal from Israel. Thank you, as a gift. And I've been stepping into so much fucking death for myself personally, and about the woman that I am, the woman that I thought I was supposed to be, in order to be loved, in order to feel worthy, in order to be held deeply by my partner, by my man. And this is what the invitation is for you, right? My alumni know, Goddess Wife School women know that we learn to see the challenges from our man's no and from what's not working in our relationships as a very deep opportunity for us to go within ourselves as spiritual beings, as sovereign creatures, truly as goddesses, meaning powerful creators, creatrixes that have full authority to make what we want, and to let ourselves be challenged by what isn't working in our external, to step up for ourselves so that we can be the woman that has everything that we say that we want, that can hold that can live it, that can embody it, and that can invite our man, invite our masculine partner to meet us in that place, to join us in building together, right? Because if you think about it, so many of us are in, no, that's not true. If you think about it, a lot of people, let's put it like this, don't realize why they're in relationship, right? Like, I remember when I was dating, I was trying to fill a hole. I was trying to fill a void. I didn't want to be lonely. I didn't want to be alone. I wanted someone to do life with. But I didn't know, right? Before I got into my marriage and like really committed on like a life level with my partner and on a building level, I didn't know what that meant. And I had to make an evolution mentally from like a paradigm place and from an embodiment place, that I don't want to just be with my partner so that we can patch cracks and just to like stay together, just to like fix broken things just so that we can stay at a status quo, right? A lot of people don't realize, just listening to my husband put my toddler to bed and she does not want to take her nap today. So if you hear any Scorpio tears in the background, that's what's going on. Oh, working mom life over here, but appreciating that I have a man that does support us so much. There were things in me that needed to die. There were beliefs in me that needed to die. There were ways that I was living and showing up and engaging with my husband that needed to die. And I needed to take ownership in my relationship. And I'm challenged too of my full self, in order for me to have what I really want with my partner. Because it's so easy. It's so easy. We see it everywhere around us. It's so easy to put the blame outside of ourselves, whether it's our relationship situation or our financial situation or our lifestyle situation, right? But as within, so is without. If you're doing that in another place in your life, I invite you into your relationship as the greatest portal for healing and growth ever possible, with a partner, with somebody that's going to do it with you once you know how to do that together. It's easy to blame your man. It's easy to see all the things that he isn't doing. And this isn't an excuse or a not all men video. And, it's not about absolving men and putting the shame and the blame on yourself, because that's where we go from our reactive place, right? Like, that's where we go from like the black and white dichotomy of like the binary. It's either him or it's me. I either can or he can, like that we can never have everything together. And we can. This is what I love to be an example of. But in order to get to that elevated place, in order to get to that dream place where you want to be, it's not only about looking at him and saying, if only he would do better, if only he would be different, if only he stopped doing those things, then I could have what I want. Then I could be happy. Then I could feel okay. Because the truth is, he's never going to always be that for you. And a king, if you really want a king or a hero in your home, the truth about that is a man that's embodying his king energy is never going to fully be and do what you think that he should be doing in order for you to be happy, or else he would be negating that energy and you still wouldn't be getting what you wanted, even if he followed all of your rules and checked all the boxes and did all the things and made that money and dress the way that you want him to dress. The fact that he would be energetically cock blocking himself in order to fulfill you would negate you getting the desire that you wanted, him being that way so that you could be happy. And so this journey, right? The women that, if you're watching this video, and come say hi and ask any questions, because I'm a generator and I love to go deep and really talk about this. And that's what we do inside of Goddess Wife School. We have really powerful, mind-blowing conversations, paradigm shifts, and then you get to go and practice that in your relationship with your partner and see those changes right away, very, very quickly, very powerfully and beautifully. Is how much power you have, right? Like, some angry women are like, why is it just us? Like, why is it just women? It should be for couples. It should be marriage school. It should be, he needs to learn. It's his responsibility. That deflection, that reaction, that needing of pushing away, it takes away our own power. Because this isn't about blaming. This isn't about tit for tat and who's right and who's wrong and who's supposed to change. It's none of that. The fact is, if there's something that's going on between you and your partner that is just unsatisfying, right? If it's just unsettling, it doesn't have to be that you guys are like at the edge of divorce. In fact, doing this, the fact that I do this work over and over is what keeps us from going so deep into any kinds of problems or drama. Like, makes our relationship unfuckwithable, which is such a good place to be with your life partner, with the person that you're choosing to co-create and live this life with. What in you has to die? What story about you, what way of being that, like, oh, that's just how I am, right? What label have you taken on yourself, or way of defining yourself have you just accepted and are living in this relationship that isn't necessarily working for you? And I'm seeing a comment. Hi, Charlene. My man deflects all his insecurities and he has shut me down. And I feel your sadness, because we've all been there. We've all felt shut down by our partners, and we've been triggered by that, and we've reacted from that place, right? Like, you're sharing something so personal and heart-wrenching that I feel like as women, a lot of us can understand when our men go to that place, but no, and something else that we need to understand on top of that is an education that we did not necessarily get about our masculine partners, about what they're doing when they're shut down, when they're taking space. This is why there's an entire module on nourishing alone time and appreciating the masculine inside of Goddess Wife School, because another story that needs to die in our relationship is what our man is doing in order to nourish himself so that he can come back and create with us. He's doing it against us. He's doing it and it's hurting us. It's killing us. It's taking from us. Okay, now I don't know everyone that's going to watch this video, so I'm going to make some statements that might apply to you, might not apply to you. You take what's valuable for you here. But if you're in a relationship with a good man that you know loves you, and you just have things in your relationship that aren't gelling and aren't working, or that are keeping you, so many women that I work with, it's like there's a gulf or a wall between you and God, you're dying to get through that wall or break it down and like reconnect and go deep again and just feel like unified and united, and you don't know how, because the same fights, the same bickering, the same issues, the same shutting down keeps happening. There's so much misunderstanding that we have, and so much judgment that we have against our partners for why they're doing certain things. What if that's what needs to die? What if that story gets to go? Because if you're with a loving man, he's not doing that to hurt you. And it's totally illogical, right? And when we're triggered, we're never logical, right? Oh, hello, rainbows. I love doing lives at this time. I have a rainbow crystal in my window. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? Is this resonating for you? I know you guys are watching, but leave some comments and let me know if this is landing for you, what I'm sharing. If you're with a good man that isn't abusive or isn't abusing you, and you have that base and there is that love there, and this is a problem that's developed over time, absolutely this can shift. And I say that with such clarity because I watched that happen inside of Goddess Wife School all the time. Okay, good. Awesome. Thank you, Cynthia. All the time. Like shift like that. When the story, right? When the truth that we're co-creating with our partners, when we shift, when we learn how to shift. And so a lot of us are clinging to a version of our relationship that we don't like because we're also afraid that if we let it go, things will fall apart. And that's why the very, very first thing we do inside of Goddess Wife School is write a new relationship vision, create the space, and start to practice embodying the creation of what you really want in your relationship with your partner. And you have the power to do that. You don't have to wait for him. You don't have to instruct him. You don't have to tell him how, because actually all of that stuff that you've tried before, it hasn't worked. It isn't working. And yet we're still trying to do that over and over again. And we don't have to do that. Yeah, especially I'm looking at some of the comments here. It's so important that you're saying that, Charlene, because so many of our men are going through their own pain and their own trauma and their own real human experience too. We barely know how to help ourselves through that, let alone know what our masculine partner needs, which is very different than what we need. But we're trying to give him what we think we need, and then feeling rejected when he doesn't accept it, or when he does something that is not what we expect him to do. And that is part of that whole cycle and pattern over and over again of misunderstanding, disconnection, blaming, guilt, doubt, all that stuff. Are you ready to let it die? Are you ready to let that shit go? Are you ready to make it different? Like, this isn't the normal stuff that is being taught out there or that people are talking about, because culture, most of culture is about victimhood and feeling wronged and needing somebody else or something else out there to change in order for us to be happy, in order for us to be okay. And the truth is, if you want a powerful man, if you want to be with a hero, the energetic of the masculine that you can really lean on, that you can feel his strength, that he can fully show up, are you ready to stop all of the ways that you have been fighting that in him? Are you ready to stop being part of the dynamic and taking full 100% responsibility for showing up as the woman that can meet him in that place, that can welcome and receive that version of him, which more often than not is not going to look how you think that you want it to? But that's why it's so sexy, and that's why it's so powerful and activating and infinite, because it can't be controlled by you. And because it's asking you to meet that and him in a place that probably right now you don't know how to get to, or you're not willing, or you don't have the tools to elevate into. And you can train all this stuff, because for those of you that are just getting to know me, I used to be this just very bossy bottom, dominating, emasculating, like man fighting, like power struggle woman. And I didn't lose my feistiness. I didn't lose my passion, my heart, my fire energy, my drive, my success for entrepreneurship. Like, I didn't lose any of those incredible qualities about myself in doing this work. But what I did is I dropped all of the fucking bullshit and ego and all the crap that was getting in the way of cock blocking my man, and took full responsibility for it. Because not only did it not feel good for him and help to set him up for success to be the man that both I wanted him to be and that he wanted to be, but it didn't feel good for me either. It was exhausting and it was annoying and it was very unsexy and it wasn't the woman that I wanted to be. And we need to learn, we need to take responsibility as women for how we show up and how we join our partners when we say that we want them to be kings, when we say that we want him to be a hero, when we say that we want to feel his leadership, when we say that we want to feel his heart, his like big dick energy. Are you able to meet him where he wants to show up with that energy? Are you ready to receive that? Or are you still stuck in a story of that it's dangerous, that it's impossible, that he doesn't want to, that he is emotionally unavailable and unable to? And how is living that, believing that, and acting from that place part of that dynamic of what you actually don't want? I know these are really big questions. I know that for some of you, you might not have thought about it like this before. No one's presented it to you like this before. I know that it's not the common narrative. And that's why for those of you that are in my world now, because of some of the posts that I've shared in other groups, that's why there's so much anger and vitriol, because this is really deep work that touches a lot of scary parts inside of us from when we might have been fucked with by men or couldn't trust men in our lives, or who raised us or didn't see that modeled for us. But that's why I am talking about it. And that's why the pain of women, it doesn't bother me. It's okay for me to invite that into this space, because that's the opportunity. That is the place where you can make that shift. And for those of you that are like, okay, that's cool, but I don't have the time to do that, or now's not a good time, or maybe later. I have to say that when I made this realization for myself of what I was doing in my relationship, how I was getting in the way of my partner being this man, that energy, right? I was like, where did it go? Like, it used to be good. It used to be hot. He used to be, but not anymore. Like, what happened, right? Love dies, relationships get stale, right? Chatter, just conditioning. Like, maybe another man is better. Maybe he can never meet me. Maybe I'm too strong for him. Chatter, conditioning. Let me tell you, once I stopped doing all of the bullshit that I hated anyway, that took my energy, that made our dynamic not only unpleasant, but that was part of those patterns. You don't have to do this. I'm a Scorpio ascendant, so I got some dramas going on, but I got on my knees and I cried and I apologized to my husband, and he looked at me like I was fucking crazy. Like, okay, get up. I'm on my phone, which, if I had known about feminine communication, which I teach in Goddess Wife School, I definitely would have done it different, because a lot of times we don't know when and how to approach our partners with our huge emotional, like with all that energy. And so we don't set him up for success to give us what we want and need. But once I made this commitment to myself and to him to get out of his way, to stop cock blocking him, I received such richness, such incredible gifts in my life from my husband as a teacher, a friend, a business partner, and truly like a co-creator in this life. Like, my regret is that I didn't do any of this sooner, that I didn't know that I didn't waste, but the first half of my marriage and truly my whole dating life, that I fucked myself over so hard from letting men who loved me really be there for me, really hold me, really support me, really give me everything that I needed, because they wanted to. When a man loves you, he wants to give you all of that. It's just part of his biology. He wants to be your hero and your king. He wants to be the source of you and your love and your turn on. And he wants to feel you turning to him like you're the sun. And he just wants to feel all of that warmth and that honey. He wants that. And once I learn how to do that and have that richness and hold that in me and give it to him without all of this stupid drama pattern, self-sufficient, I can do it on my own, I don't need you, I'm quicker than you, I'm better than you, I know the right thing, you're just messing it, I'll just do it anyway, that's stupid, why would you think that, why can't you be more like this? Once I dropped all of that, he really could be free to be safe around me as the hero, the man, like that I always knew was inside of him, but even more because I couldn't control his ass and I couldn't micromanage and tell him what to do and how to do it. And him and his power, your man in his power, in his full power in partnership with you is the biggest, most important investment if you're in a relationship that you can give yourself, because him in that place will wash over you abundance, care, nurturing, space holding, stability, that whole structure that we as women are dying for, that require even in order to like fully flower, in order to feel, to relax and to feel the way that we were born to feel. Now, it's not that you can't be a flower without a man, okay? It's not that you can't be successful and abundant without a man. You can, of course, but if you have one or if you desire to have one, why wouldn't you make sure that the conditions, that all of the resources at hand in this incredible partner in your life, that you're not, why wouldn't you be fully tapped into to suck up all his juices as you grow, as you flower, as you live this amazing life? Because partnered with another person, you can go farther, you can go faster, you have double the resources, you have double the zones of genius, you have double the everything. And so you're shooting yourself. I shot myself in the foot for years and years, denying my partners the pleasure of being their full masculine, their full hero selves around me. If any of you have a trouble with the language, you can replace it with whatever you want, because I don't give a fuck about the language. This is just the way that I'm using to talk about this. I want you to invite to yourself. I want you to invite this possibility in you. I'm seeing another comment of that we want to grow together. I get anxious if I don't hear from him for more than 2 days. That's your responsibility. And I say that with so much love, right? Every woman that works with me knows, they say, Michelle is tough love, because I'm going to tell it to you from the truth. That kind of energy and anxiety and keeping him busy and wrapped up in your drama and trauma is part of what's keeping him from elevating and being his full potential and self. And I say that without shame and without blame. I say that because if you want to feel your man doing that, you just have to look at yourself and understand, okay, are there any ways, like what am I doing as his partner, as the woman that loves him, that are not good for him, that aren't helping him, that aren't supportive of him, knowing, right? First of all, why would you want to be like that to your man? You wouldn't, right? Or to someone that you love, you won't. And knowing that the more that you can, if you're an entrepreneur like me, optimize, right? And take care of yourself in the way that you are responsible to, because our partners, our men are generally, right? They have a very different way of processing, handling, being with emotions that we as women look at and we're like, you're emotionally disconnected. You don't have emotional language. You're shut down, right? We make all these judgments because he doesn't act the way that we do. And it scares us and it's out of our control. And that's where a lot of that comes from, okay? We have the power. We have so much power in our relationships. And that's why that phrase, happy wife, happy life, it's not about I mean, the way that I see it, it's not about getting your man to do things to make you happy so that everything can be okay, right? And everybody lives in fear or in control of if your mood is good, if you're being satisfied. No. Happy wife, happy life means making yourself happy. Not in the way of, I can't trust him, I can't rely on him, I can't, no. In a way of ownership and sovereignty for yourself, taking care of yourself in that way so that you can join with him from that whole self, so that you can overcome things together instead of dumping it on him. Because most of y'all, you don't even know how to take care of yourselves emotionally. You don't even know what to do to resource yourself. And then you're expecting him to do things that you don't even know how to do for you. And he's not even really good at it anyway, or he's wildly different, and he's not going to be the one that gives you what you need in the way that you need it. That's what women's circles are for. That's what these containers are for. Don't make your man your best friend. That's another relationship suicide. I think I talk about that in another video, but I talk about that more in Goddess Wife School and why. Okay, I've been going on for a long time. It's the last day before doors close for Goddess Wife School. I know a lot of you are thinking about it. I know a lot of you want me to seduce you, and if you do, just slide into my DMs. I'm doing chats with all the women and answering all of your questions. If you're scared to talk to me, just go to goddesswifeschool.com. Or you can just DM me and say the word video. I made a really sweet little video that explains everything about the program if you just want to watch that. It's the most amazing program. It's nothing that anybody teaches about relationship, about committed relationship and growing together, and the power that you have as a woman in that relationship, and how to stay connected, how to become unfuckwithable, how to get everything that you want and need from your man so that you can be everything that you ever wanted, fully supported by him, fully connected to him, very well fucked by him too, no matter how long you've been together. I love Goddess Wife School because every time I do it, I mean, there's so many testimonials, there's so much change and growth and surprises. And the phrase that comes over and over is, I can't believe he's doing this. Like, I've wanted this for so long. I can't believe it's finally happening. And the best part is, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to tell him, you don't have to show him, you don't have to teach him. In fact, it's the opposite of that. It's really investing in yourself, taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself, activating your turn on, your feminine radiance, leaning back in a way that feels so good. It's what you wanted anyway. It's what he wants also, so that he has the space, the inspiration, the motivation to step up and meet you in his king energy, so that you can run this world, so that you can grow your businesses, so that you can be that couple that all your friends are like, how the fuck, like, why are you so hot? Why are you guys so amazing together? Like, that's the vibe. That's the vibe. That's why I run it, so that I can have that in my relationship and get that energy and that juice. If you're thinking about, I'll do it later, the next time that I'll probably run the program is at the end of the year. And if I was you, but I don't make decisions for you, I would want my ride or die. I would want things to be like this with us while I was growing my business, building my dream life, and making, everything that I want happen, so that I don't have to face another day feeling alone, feeling like I have to do everything, feeling like what I'm trying isn't working, feeling disconnected, feeling lonely, feeling, why can't I have that? Why can't he give that to me? And being in that place of depletion. You don't deserve that. And he doesn't deserve that either, because that's not what he wants, right? He wants to be your hero. He wants you to be like, he's amazing. I love him. He's perfect. Like, I'm so happy. I'm so lucky. And I want to show you how to bring that back into your relationship. So that's at goddesswifeschool.com, or slide into my DMs. You have less than 12 hours, 10 hours, I think, for me to seduce you. And for you to get your booty in there. We start officially on Monday with an amazing group of women. And it's going to rock your world. And I'm just thinking about all the thank you notes I get from the husbands and the boyfriends of the women that do this program. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go be with my man and chill, get my nails did. It's Friday. I love you so much. Slide in my DMs. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to get you signed up. I would love, love, love to hear on Monday about already the shifts that are happening in your relationship as you create the space for that new vision and have it come to reality with your man. Let me know what you want. Let me know what you think. Let me know also, DM me and tell me why it's not possible so I can tell you if you're right or not. Wow me with your story about what you won't let die in your relationship. We'll do a death ritual together and send it on its way so you can have what you really want. Okay, loving you guys. If you know a woman that needs to hear this, needs to be in Goddess Wife School, please send her this video or tag her here, or she can go to goddesswifeschool.com. I can't wait to get started next week. Loving you guys so much and have a great weekend. Bye.